Oh, okay. Speaking of a game that I absolutely adore, this is probably one of my favorites on the sheet, and probably and this is absolutely my favorite play on the board. Um, Auburn heads to Norman, Oklahoma, to face off against the Sooners. Sooners minus 6.5 is the line. Game total at 48.5. Okay. Number one, I love this Oklahoma defense. They've looked fantastic. Number two, this is the Jackson Arnold revenge game. Auburn quarterback Jackson Arnold transferred out of Oklahoma to Auburn. Now he's coming back, I believe, for the first time. Um, and Oklahoma has kind of been looking the part for me. They come into this one 3-0, and I like a lot of the things they've done. They stood up against against Michigan at home. Granted, it was at home, but then that was a game that they had to have. They absolutely outclassed Temple last week, and in week one they beat up on Illinois State, which is not a bad FCS. They're actually a pretty solid FCS program. Um, so I like this Oklahoma team. I don't know that they can win the SEC, but they're definitely going to be one of the teams in the mix. And this is kind of a must-win game for them. Uh, excuse me. Quarterback John Mateer has looked solid. He did throw the one interception against excuse me against the Temple Owls last week. But other than that, he threw 282 yards and a touchdown in a blowout. So I didn't need to play the whole game. Didn't play the full game. Um, so I like the way that roster is constructed, and I think that Oklahoma is just the better team, and it's in Norman. Auburn on the other side, they won. They went in to Baylor and won at Baylor by 14 points. They beat up on Ball State, which honestly Ball State might as well be an FCS, and they managed to beat up on South Alabama at Auburn last week. It, again, Jackson Arnold, he's not going to set the world on fire by throwing it. But he can, but he's a nice dual threat. However, he's going back to the team that just cut him loose. So I don't. I have a feeling that they're going to have a plan in place for Jackson Arnold, especially with that defense. We saw what they could do against a dual threat quarterback against in that Michigan game where they completely shut down, the Michigan offense. Um, and I kind of like this one to get a little bit out of hand. I think Oklahoma is probably going to win by double digits, if not more. Um, yeah, so I'm a Boomer Sooner. I'll lay the 6.5, and this is probably gonna be one of my heavier bets of the weekend. Um, just because I don't think Auburn's really gonna. Number one, Auburn coming in going on the road at 3-0. I think they're kind of due for a loss, and I think this is gonna be it. Um, they're not gonna be able to throw on. I'm sorry, they're not gonna be able to move the ball against Oklahoma the same way they move the ball against Baylor. And I really like, and this is a great spot for Oklahoma, so I'm going to lay the 6.5 with the Sooners. Favorite play on the board, probably my lock for the weekend.